Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to today's video. Before we get into it, likes, comments, and subscriptions, they really do help, and I greatly appreciate them. And subscription to my Patreon would be pretty appreciated, very appreciated. And there's also a link in the description to a mock government being played on Discord. And today, now that I've got all the advertising out of the way, today we're going to be discussing one of the more interesting elections, or more memeable elections that I've found. And this is basically, how does it, in 2002, a year where Republicans had surprising success, despite already holding both the House and Senate and presidency, managed to expand their majorities in both legislative chambers. And how does a Republican in what we would think of as a deep red state, and a state that was swinging to become one of the most Republican states in the Union, all of a sudden vote for a Democrat into the governor's office? Well, the reality is that the margin was about 6,000 votes in the final tally, and the Democrat only got 43%, and the independent who was in the race was much better described as a conservative, running up against a very conservative Republican, who was a bit of a legend because he was an NFL Hall of Fame receiver and was a 3-term member of the House of Representatives from Oklahoma. So, and that person is, of course, Steve Largent. And I don't really need to go into... Well, actually, I kind of do need to go into him. So, he was a very conservative member of Congress, to say the least. Very religious, for sure. And even by conservative standards, he was on the very conservative end of that. The other thing is that he was he did not like taxes. He filed a bill in the U.S. House to eliminate the income tax. He also suggested getting rid of Oklahoma's state income tax as well during the campaign. So you kind of know where he stands on taxation. He seems like the type of person who would say taxation is theft. Yeah, this was the Democrat, Brad Henry, who definitely was a little less of a... somewhat interesting candidate, I would say, but also kind of unknown, and he's kind of that old school Democrat who's like, let's just help the working class out. Let's, do... When I say he was an old school Democrat, I can't really find anything that would be out of place for a moderate independent. So basically what a modern swing voter would be is kind of where I would see him. Except for one thing. Except for one position he took in the campaign. And that deals with... by the way, Gary Richardson, the other candidate, make turnpikes for your roads again. So, yeah, also hating taxes. Brad Henry, he endorsed the part of this election that makes it memeable. So, Oklahoma in 2002 apparently had not banned cockfighting. Yes, you heard that correctly. Cockfighting, as in putting two roosters into a ring against each other and having them fight to the death. They hadn't made it illegal in 2000 until 2002. Henry endorsed keeping it legal, as in he campaigned against the ban on cockfighting, which helped drive Democratic turnout. Yes, you heard that correctly. Drive Democratic turnout in southeastern Oklahoma along the Red River and towards Arkansas. I wonder why. Towards Arkansas, up to enough margin so that he could actually carry the race, carry the election. Now, up until the last few days of the campaign, of course, this was viewed as a reasonably comfortable win for Largent. But Largent did make mistakes. Part of it was he refused to run any attack ads. I don't really consider that too much of a mistake. I think that's actually kind of an honorable thing to do in a lot of ways. But maybe honor cost him. Largent, by the way, this is in 2002. So the previous year there was a major world event. Largent, he... he was out hunting in Idaho on September the 11th, 2001. And during a debate with the other two candidates, to use the words of the Associated Press from the USA Today, from the day after the election, Largent blurted out a vulgarity in response to a television interviewer's question, to which Richardson quickly aired the commercial showing Largent making the remark. An attack ad. Yeah. This is Oklahoma, a very deeply Christian part of the country. It's not going to end well. So, the other thing is, Oklahoma is a little bit strange in that for a long time, the urban areas tended, and the panhandle and the northwestern portion of the state, the more northern and western you got, as well as the more urban you got, the more likely it was a Republican was going to be elected. So, Tulsa, Oklahoma, for example, it's a fairly Republican city. Oklahoma City was also pretty darn Republican. Those areas where Largent probably lost the election, those two areas, he had the most significant vote splitting from Richardson. Oklahoma City is in I think one of these two counties right here, and Tulsa is right about here. If I'm getting my geography correct, it's somewhere in this area. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it really did not help Largent that there was another conservative in the race, and it also didn't help that he made a few mistakes on the campaign trail. Again, I still think this is one of the more memeable elections simply because of the whole cockfighting situation. Because, I mean, come on. Everybody wants... I mean, who wouldn't want to talk about that? Stay tuned for a much more serious video on Friday where we discuss political history of the United States more in depth. By the way, I do know that today is Inauguration Day, and you know what? Let's just hope for a peaceful 4 years, and hope that we continue this experiment in self-governance. I feel that's solid. Anyway, Hope you all enjoyed. See y'all next time. Take it easy. Have a very nice evening. Stay tuned on Friday for a continuation on the series on political history of the United States. And on Saturday, I'm going to be starting a series of premieres in lieu of my inability to live stream. And I may be doing some test streams at various points, just to see if upping my internet has worked. And the tagline for that is going to be, y'all are going to be my class for an alternate future taking place in 2036 or some far off distant year. 2136. Let's push it back. Let's push it even further. Anyway, take it easy, y'all. Have a very nice evening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.